Hey, I'm Dr. Sebastian Gonzalez. I'm going to show you the kettlebell arm bar today. And the reason why I like showing this, at least in a therapeutic setting, is that we are working on a lot of things that encompass shoulder health. And we're working on mid-back rotation, we're working on core strength to keep the rib cage and the pelvis together, we're working on breathing, bracing, shoulder stabilization, also GH or glenohumeral joint stabilization locally within the ball and socket. So all these parts are important, really, really important to shoulder health. And this is stuff that we give for impingement. And typically it works well because people don't have to have their arm beyond 90 degrees. So it's a really good basic one to give. We give it for small rotator cuff tears. We give it for some labral tears, depending upon grade. We give it for bursitis. We give it for a lot of different shoulder conditions. So I'm going to show you how to do it today. And again, you need to be checked out by your doctor before doing any of this stuff, as well as any other exercise that I give. So first off, you have to have a kettlebell. And you could do it without a kettlebell, and you could do it with like a small weight. But I would say most people that I work with, they usually do at least a 4 kilo or 9 pound weight to start with. People are hesitant to put it over their head, which does happen, but honestly, if you don't let go, it's not a big deal. So I personally use about a 26 pound or a 35 pound one kettlebell. First off, we need to learn the kettlebell rack position. So what I mean by this is the wrist, okay? Fingers should be shot straight to the ceiling like they got lasers on the tips of them, and you're pointing to the ceiling, okay? You want to have it so the wrist is basically straight is what we're trying to do. If you cock it back like this, I mean, I have a lot of people that say, well, my wrist starts to hurt. Well, don't do it, you know? Your head won't hurt if you don't bash it against the wall, and the same thing applies here. So let's do it right from the start. Okay, so here we go, and I might move around a couple times just to make sure that I'm in the camera view because this is a really narrow camera lens. So first off, if this is the shoulder we're working on, or therapeutically working with, then we're gonna have the weight in the hand, okay? But I typically have people do it on both sides. So what I like to do is arm up, reach out, and this is gonna provide just some stabilization. Drive the weight up, okay? And one thing to consider in the beginning here is that you can test a little bit and see that if you go above or below or to the side or to the side, it is not driven straight through directly above your head to a dot in the ceiling, then you're gonna feel your shoulder work extra hard, which is not the point at all. We're trying to keep it in this one position, driven to the ceiling, and we're gonna move the body around it, okay? So I can't stress that enough because it is extremely common for people to lose their focus here and move it around, and then we don't get what we need to out of this exercise. So we're gonna drive it to the ceiling. Notice that my knee is up on this side straight, because I'm gonna be rolling that way. Okay, so I like to drive it to the ceiling. Notice the shoulder come off the ground. Drive it to the ceiling. Now we're going to use the heel to drive us over. Okay, I'm log rolling myself is basically what's happening. And I'm always looking at the kettlebell, looking it through the ceiling. So right now we're halfway into a log roll. Let me check my camera angle. Let's go here. How about that? Okay, so we're driven it to the ceiling and we are halfway through the log roll. Now, bring the leg over slightly, and then from here, I try to position the camera so you can see that I'm pointing the toes, and it doesn't matter that you point this toe. It really depends, it really matters if you point this one. And the reason why I have people point it, because I just have them imagine, think like you're a dancer. You're just making a really nice dancing position on the ground, trying to get long. We're trying to drive the toe that way. And what happens is, from a core stabilization perspective, is imagine I have this shirt tucked in. Okay? If this was a really tight shirt tuck in, when this pulls, this will actually pull my shoulder or my upper body with it. Okay? So we're trying to log roll this section. There shouldn't be any twisting of this part versus this part. Okay? Driven it to the ceiling, toes going long, and you can notice that the weight is still above my head. Okay? On the return, it's going to be the reverse. Bring the leg back. Slight bend in the knee. Notice I'm log rolling the body, head goes down, and slow return. And this is actually not enough weight for me. Again, I use about a 26 pound kettlebell or 35 pound. I know there's a kilo conversion on that. People are gonna bash on me for it, I'm sure, because I don't like using kilos. I like using pounds. I'm in America. Sorry, that's my thing. I grew up with it. So here we go. Drive to the ceiling, drive the heel, log roll the body, Look the weight into the air, point the dancer toe, and pause. Slow roll back, bend the knee, keep driving the weight, relax the head. Now you're in the starting position again. So this is pretty simple, okay? I tend to see people, when they roll back, they say, okay, I'm done, okay? And that's not right, okay? We should do this entire thing with stabilization and control. That's the whole point of it, okay? So I'll explain now what we're getting in regards to movements of the body during this exercise. So, because I know that I've had people ask recently, what does this work? Well, it works a lot of things, okay? Driving it up. So we have the serratus anterior working right here, as well as some of the core muscles right here. This is the same type of drive up that you'll feel with a beginning of a Turkish get-up. Continue to drive it to the ceiling. Now I'm looking to the right. So we have right cervical rotation. I'm extending the hip here, okay? Extending the hip to drive me through. Pointing the toe, and it's not really about the lower body at this point, it's about mid-back rotation. So remember what I said about acting like my shirt is tucked in, I think it's still tucked in actually, is if I'm keeping this together, the rib cage and the pelvis, or the hip bone or the crest, then where's our rotation coming from? And it's really coming from the shoulder girdle is stabilizing, but the mid-back is rotating. Okay, I'm going to say that again. So watch me one more time. Drive the weight up. So we stabilize the shoulder. Now, from here, again, we're keeping together. My fingers should not change their distance from each other. And my motion is coming from somewhere. And the mid-back has the most rotation of the spine, with the exclusion of the high cervical spine. So that is, that's the kettlebell arm bar. And again, it's something we recommend for a lot of shoulder cases. So if you have questions for me, feel free to put them below. And if you like this video, just give me a thumbs up. I mean, it really helps me out here in regards to getting information out to all of you as quick as we possibly can. And the more thumbs up I get, the better the reviews are, the more this comes to the top of the feed. So if you liked it, please, please, please. Also, if you want some free information off my website, I have a bunch there. So go there. I've spent countless hours of writing articles on shoulder conditions, hip ones, knee ones, back ones. I mean, they're longer articles than you ever want to read, and I don't say that because they're long because you should want them to be long. But the point is, if you go to there, I don't want you to have to go anywhere else to search for more information, because they're pretty comprehensive and they're really, really backed up with research articles, current ones. So that's p2sportscare.com, and you'll be prompted to subscribe to the email list, and you'll get videos just like this, but you'll get the best of the best when they come out. I won't spam you. I promise. These are just stuff that you can learn from. So share them with friends, share this video. I'll talk to you guys soon, and let me know what you want to hear about next.